capital and infrastructure improvements at the wastewater plant. So staff wanted to slow down a little bit, take a look at our facility plan before we submit to ecology and make sure that it's tight. Exhaust every option since it is a significant investment down the road.
Are we talking 10 years that we might be able to haul there, or is it that
Yeah.
kind of time frame?
Obviously, Camas staff and their consultant engineer, which I believe is Gray and Osborne, hasn't thrown out a specific year. This is what the supplemental really drills into. What is the feasibility of it? Composition of sludge, how thick the sludge is, what type of criteria we're going to have to meet to be able to haul to Camas, which is short haul, similar to what we do right now with the port property that's pretty much month to month. So I think it's an option that we need to exhaust before submitting to ecology as far as due diligence. Another note on that, they had submitted this a few weeks ago, so you'll see the contract projected timeline. That'll get pushed back. It's originally May through July, so that'll be more June through August to be able to do the supplemental work. At the same time, they'll be doing the updated final draft for the facility plan for the wastewater plant. At that point, we'll be submitted to ecology for their approval. As well in that, they'll be running a BioWin model, which gets into specifics for primary treatment for oxidation ditches and large capital improvements like secondary clarifiers. So we're going to do some more BioWin analysis prior to submitting.
Can you imagine that the state has any problem with us trucking it to campus?
No. Beneficial use, regional effort. Obviously, we've been at the table with the North County study with Clark Regional Wastewater and Battleground and Ridgefield. Obviously, the county owns the plant, Salmon Creek, but we've sat in regionally. We have been mentioned, obviously, as a potential biosolid site just because we actually have the acreage. It's lagoons currently, but being able to have the acreage to be able to process biosolids. So typically, ecology looks at beneficial use and or regional effort, which this would be between two municipalities, combining those resources. That's usually looked upon very well. So.
Well, just a quick question, and I realize that I'm asking you to gaze into your crystal ball. What do you think the chances are that any time in the foreseeable future we're going to have to do processing to eliminate pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, the last 2 years at the Biosolids Management Conference, that's been a hot topic. It's really national, and even in Europe, they've been a little bit further ahead of the pharmaceutical removal. Obviously, the adverse impacts to in-stream habitat, so that's where it's going. It continues to ramp up through EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, for wastewater treatment. We're seeing that with stormwater, the start of it, and wastewater will eventually get to that point. How quick it is depends probably on volume and type of discharge, whether it's salt water, fresh water, stream, creek, lake, and what type of impact that would be will dictate what type of treatment they'll have to have in place to meet those requirements. And a phased-in approach, obviously, as you look, is depending on the location of the wastewater plant and what's discharged to it as far as hospitals or other process plants.
So given the flow rates or the exchange rates in the Columbia, we're probably in pretty good shape as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Chief, do you take medications in and out of the station? Mm-hmm. How often does
It's runs in spurts. We'll get, but it seems like weekly. I'm gonna guess maybe sometimes 2 to 4 times a week.
Yeah. Some down there, and they package it all up, you sign your name, and
you want to be more
Public
proactive in that?
public awareness piece as far as newsletter.
Can we do that here,
Sure.
or even, get that out even more than it is?
And there's nothing out there that's able to detect this before it goes out into the rest of the.
Oh yeah, it's detectable at this point. There's just no regulation.
To clean it.
Well, I mean, just I know for our neighborhood, we had new neighbors that moved in from the country and weren't used to it, and they started dumping their grease down the sink. And we ended up getting a notice to all the neighbors, hey, you guys have grease in your sink, you know,
Yeah.
in the pipes, and don't
Right.
throw your grease down the sink.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was very effective. I don't know if we've had any more problems with that on my block, but, you know, it's,
Yeah, we have certain hot spots for grease and grease trap program as far as the fog program, fats, oils, and greases with restaurants and other places where they have to have those traps in place to be in compliance with code. But we do get that spot throughout the collection system. We'll have some issues.
Any other questions for Trev?
No.
You're out of here for the night.
Okay.
Yeah.
RJ, surplus sale.
So we have one item that I surplus. We haven't done this in the past, but I'd like to try to surplus this item, which is a camera lens, onto eBay. We've had surplus sales in the past, we've taken all of our stuff. But with this particular item, I want to see more likely the best price that we can get for it. So the process would be to have a resolution to declare this item as surplus and then direct staff on how to sell that item.
Is that the one Steve Sanders had?
Are there any questions?
Sounds like a good idea.
Jennifer?
Yes. What kind of camera is this for?
We just saw the camera.
Yeah, we would probably have to find out because we never had a camera.
The camera wasn't owned by the city, it was owned by former finance director.
Okay. Just noticed, within the payables recently, we've had some expenses for cameras. And I just didn't know if this could be used if we actually bought a camera that went with a lens instead of
This is
other
actually,
cameras.
It'd be
this
a
is
unique
actually-
thing to actually buy the camera before you bought the lens, but.
but this
No,
lens is
keep-
actually more than what we would need for the city.
Oh, yeah,
correct? I
way
mean,
more.
It's a big deal, yeah.
$1,200 lens.
So this is not, no department can use this with a camera that they would need for their department, like the police department or the fire department or any other.
No, a lot of times you're buying
department.
disposables or discs.
It's like, we have a camera, but I think it's for can't remember.
Can't remember the,
I
I can't remember what that one was.
I can
Yeah.
check with police this week and see if that one is, if it is compatible or not.
Yeah.
well, no, I mean, I'm sure you have to buy a certain camera to go with this lens, I'm sure.
It would be useful when it comes up before council to know what the lens is, millimeters, speed, and what kind of camera it fits.
Okay, sure.
Because you're not gonna get a whole lot for it,
You
even
got-
on eBay.
Other than knowing
Oh,
what
no,
camera
no.
it fits on, it's right there on the receipt.
Yeah, you know, we did a little research, the item like this movie was going for $961.
Wow. That's
The
actually
digital 35 millimeter. You
decent.
guys even know
It's gotta be 35
And you have
millimeter.
247 millimeter f 2.8 liters USM lens 5D 50D 1D Mark IV.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
as technical as I know, because I can.
That should go for at least $800 on eBay.
We had, one of the staff members said it had a friend that would pay somewhere in that range too, but I didn't feel comfortable just selling to a private individual. I'd have it on
Just let them know it's
Right.
out there on eBay.
Yep, exactly.
promote it.
Okay, great.
Okay?
And you would go in with